Well, hello and welcome back. This is the sixth and final video regarding review number 6, the mail merge chapter in your textbook. It's the review that begins on page 345 and continues on page 346. In previous videos, we did steps numbers 1 through 21, and now we're on step number 22. All right, step number 22, it says we're going to open the document called More. So we'll click on File and Open, and we'll browse, and we'll find the file called More's in our Mail Merge folder. And there's our file. Okay, and then we're going to save this file. We're going to call it More Customer Data. All right, so we'll click on File, Save As. Go ahead and keep it in your mail merge directory, and we'll call it More, M-O-R-E, Customer Data. Add your last name to it. Please add your last name, right? Click Save. And then it says convert the data in the document to a table with 8 columns. Find a header row. And it's going to have the first name, the last name, the address line 1, address line 2, city, state, and zip code, and an ice cream type. Okay. The problem with this file is this, is that it is not in what I like to call first normal form. And that is that if I were to go and create this thing with a convert to text, it wouldn't work out right. And to demonstrate that, first I'm going to do it wrong. Okay, I'm going to do this wrong. I'm going to select my text, all of the text in the file. And then I think I'm going to jump to the Insert tab. And I'm going to use the table command. And I'm going to convert text to table. And I'm going to take whatever defaults that Microsoft chooses to give me this time. I'm not going to deal with it because what I know is that this is going to end badly. And then I choose OK. Okay, so if I click on, what you see here is that you get the full name, not the name split between first and half and last name. The street address looks good, but some of these records have a second line of address and some of them don't. And by the time you get to the right side of the table, things don't line up like they should. Okay, you got the zip code tied in there with the ice cream type. So to correct this, we have to stay with the source. I'm going to undo that convert to text. Control Z I used. And I'm going to start splitting things around by the comma. So for every field that the author wants to have, you have to have the field data and a comma. The field data and the comma. Even if no data is going to be involved, you can't ignore that the comma is needed. So here's what that looks like. After the first name of the record, all right, you've got to have a comma. And Joe is out, and put your name in. So it's your first name, a comma, and your last name. Okay, so everybody has a first name and a last name followed by a comma. Then you have the street address followed by a comma. The problem is that records 2 and 3 do not share a second line of address. So you still have to add the comma as if there were data present. Okay, so for the second and third records, after the street address, you need 2 commas. That in turn is followed each record by a comma after the city name. That way you can delineate between the city and the state. Then it was followed by a comma after the zip code. There should be a comma after each zip code. Okay, so that separates the difference between the zip code and the ice cream type. Now, I don't know why, but the person who created this file put the ice cream type in parentheses, and that doesn't help us at all. So I end up removing the parentheses out both the front and back, okay? Both the front and back parentheses. And, I mean, could I have done this with a search? Yeah, I could have, but that wouldn't happen. Okay. And I'm not going to change anything at this point because of spelling. I'm going to assume that the spelling of cinnamon peach is correct, although I'm quite interested. I think I'm going to ignore all instances of that one. Can't imagine why Microsoft can't spell peach, but okay. Now I'm going to select all the data and go to the Insert tab under the Tables group, and I'm going to convert text to table. That's the command, all right? It's on the Insert tab in the Table group, convert text to table, and I choose OK. Now notice in the dialog box it assumes that we have 8 columns, and that's because all of the records out there have 7 commas. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, I'm sorry, I misspoke. There are 8 commas, 1 for each. Okay, and notice that the separator text is based on the comma, and we choose OK. And you know this thing works out well because the ice cream type, right? 1 on each row. So that worked out pretty good. Now don't forget, we need a header row, so we're going to click inside the first row of the table. Click inside the first row. And then we'll go to the Table Layout tab. And within the Table Layout tab, look to the left side of the ribbon where it says Insert Above. Choose Insert Above. Click that. Now you have a row which allows you to type in first name, right? First name, followed by last name, followed by address line 1, address line 2, city, state, zip, is it zip or zip code? Zip code, and then ice cream type. Select all of the first row, all right, that's your header row, and then use Control B for bold, or you could have done that by going to the Home tab in the font group and clicking on the B for bold. Okay, so this file is called More Customer Data, and you save your work. And we click on File and Close. And that'll leave us with our mail merge folder. And how many files are we turning in? Well, if we subtract the set of files that we were given at the beginning of this adventure, let's take a look. All right, so we select this one and delete it, and select more and delete it, and suppliers and delete it. Now all the remaining files are files that you built and have your last name attached to it. And in my example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but there's one more file that you're going to turn in. It's these 9 plus the file in My Data Source, which is a subfolder within Documents, and you're going to turn in the ice cream data, because if you don't, I won't be able to grade it. Unfortunately, that'll be a hard thing for me to do. Without the data, things aren't going to work right. So there are 10 files that you need to turn in, right? Ice cream data, and all these files that you created within the folder. Take a long look at that list. Okay. And wow. That's enough for today. And that's the last video. I hope you have a good semester and good luck on your final exam.